Get out, you animals. This isn't Section 8 housing. Linda Morrison explodes through her front door like a rabid beast, her face purple with rage as she storms across her manicured lawn in bedroom slippers. She stops at the property line, jabbing her finger violently at the black family's celebration. You don't belong here. Take your welfare babies and drug dealing back to the ghetto where you came from. A birthday cake sits half-cut on the table as children cower behind their parents. The black father drops his grilling spatula, his jaw clenched tight as neighbors emerge from houses to witness Linda's racist tirade. I'm calling the police to report a criminal gathering. She screams into her phone, spittle flying from her lips. These gang members are selling drugs at a children's party. The man's hands slowly ball into fists before he forces them open, his voice deadly calm. Ma'am, you need to step back. Linda's maniacal laughter echoes as sirens wail in the distance. We'll see who steps back when the cops get here, boy. Without a word, the father disappears into his garage, and Linda has no idea what's waiting inside. The morning sun casts long shadows across Willow Creek's pristine streets, where every lawn maintains the same emerald perfection, and every driveway gleams with fresh sealant. At 246 Maple Drive, Chief Robert Bobby Williams kneels beside his 8-year-old daughter, Zoe, carefully untangling a string of birthday balloons that will soon transform their backyard into a wonderland. Bobby's weathered hands work with surprising gentleness for someone his size, 6'2", with the broad shoulders of a man who spent 22 years maintaining order in an increasingly chaotic world. But here, in civilian clothes on a Saturday morning, he's simply a father, preparing for the most important day in his little girl's year. Daddy, can we put the purple ones by the swing set? Zoe's gap-toothed smile radiates pure joy as she clutches a cluster of balloons to her chest. Her birthday dress, a frilly pink creation that Bobby's wife, Maria, found on sale 3 weeks ago, already bears the evidence of an 8-year-old's enthusiasm. A small grass stain on the hem and frosting from the cupcakes she tested earlier. Wherever you want them, princess. Bobby's voice carries the warm authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed, but here it's softened by paternal love. He secures the balloon weights with practiced efficiency, muscle memory from years of incident scene management translating seamlessly to party preparation. Across the street, morning joggers wave politely as they pass, a ritual of suburban pleasantry that Bobby has slowly grown accustomed to since moving to Willow Creek 6 months ago. The transition from their cramped apartment near downtown to this sprawling suburb represented everything he and Maria had worked toward. Good schools, safe streets, and neighbors who smiled instead of looking away. Mrs. Carter from next door emerges from her house carrying a perfectly wrapped gift, her elderly frame moving with careful deliberation. Bobby immediately rises to help her navigate the slight incline between their properties, taking her arm with the same protective instinct that makes him an exceptional police chief. "You're too kind, Mr. Williams," she says in accented English, patting his hand with genuine warmth. "Zoe is lucky to have such a caring father. We're the lucky ones to have neighbors like you, Mrs. Carter." Bobby's response carries no trace of the code switching that many black professionals master. His voice remains authentically his own, whether addressing his daughter or his community. The front door of 247 Maple Drive opens with deliberate force, and Linda Morrison emerges like a stage performer making an entrance. Her blonde hair sits in rigid perfection despite the early hour, and her pastel cardigan coordinates flawlessly with her pressed khakis and spotless white sneakers. Everything about her appearance screams careful construction. From her precisely applied makeup to the way she carries herself, chin slightly raised, shoulders back, claiming space with aggressive politeness. "Good morning, neighbors." Her voice projects across the street with artificial cheer, but her eyes scan Bobby's property with the calculating precision of an appraiser. "My, you're certainly starting early with the festivities." The pause before festivities hangs in the air like a question mark, loaded with implications that Bobby recognizes but chooses not to acknowledge. He's encountered this tone countless times in his career. The carefully modulated voice of someone who believes their concerns deserve immediate attention, and their perspective represents universal truth. Just getting ready for Zoe's birthday party this afternoon. Bobby responds evenly, continuing to secure decorations without breaking rhythm. His response carries no defensiveness, no explanation beyond the simple facts. Years of police work have taught him the power of controlled responses. Linda's smile tightens imperceptibly. I do hope you'll be mindful of the noise ordinances. We have several elderly residents on this street who value their weekend tranquility. She pauses, her gaze fixing on the portable speaker Bobby has positioned near the patio table. And of course, there are property values to consider. Mrs. Carter's grip on Bobby's arm tightens slightly, a gesture so subtle that only someone trained in reading body language would notice. But Bobby feels it, recognizes the tension that creeps into marginalized communities when authority figures speak in coded language about standards and values. Of course, Bobby replies, his tone remaining professionally neutral. We'll keep things reasonable. Just a few friends and some birthday cake. By noon, Linda has positioned herself at her kitchen window like a sentinel, her fingers drumming against the granite countertop as she monitors the escalating situation across the street. 3 cars now occupy the Williams driveway. Additional vehicles line the street, their occupants carrying covered dishes and wrapped gifts toward the backyard celebration. Linda's mental tally climbs with each arrival. The portable speaker pulses with hip-hop rhythms that drift across her manicured lawn, each bass note registering as a personal assault on her weekend tranquility. When children's laughter mingles with the music, Linda's jaw tightens until her molars ache. She retrieves her iPhone and opens the voice memo app. Saturday, May 15th, 12:47 p.m. Ongoing disturbance at 246 Maple Drive. Excessive noise, overcrowding, multiple vehicles blocking street access, clear violation of neighborhood covenants and city ordinances. At 1:15 p.m., her breaking point arrives when 8-year-old Zoe shrieks with delight as water balloons explode in the backyard. The sound pierces through Linda's kitchen window like fingernails on a chalkboard, and her carefully maintained composure finally shatters. She grabs her phone and dials 911. This is Linda Morrison at 247 Maple Drive in Willow Creek. I need police assistance immediately. There's a large gathering of suspicious individuals at my neighbor's house. They're being extremely loud and aggressive, and I'm concerned for the safety of our neighborhood. Are you witnessing any criminal activity, ma'am? Yes, I believe so. There are too many people for a normal gathering, and they're acting threatening. I've seen what looks like drug exchanges, and the music is so loud, it's clearly designed to mask other activities. At 1:32 p.m., the first patrol car appears at the end of Maple Drive, followed quickly by 2 others. Linda's pulse quickens with anticipation as the vehicles approach. Across the street, Bobby Williams notices the approaching sirens with the alertness of someone whose profession demands constant awareness. The first siren cuts through the afternoon air like a blade through silk. Bobby freezes mid-flip of a hamburger patty, his head tilting slightly as he tracks the sound's direction and proximity. The guests continue their conversations, unaware of the approaching disruption, but Bobby's entire demeanor shifts with predatory alertness. 3 patrol cars arrange themselves in tactical formation. Officers emerge with practiced synchronization, hands positioned near weapons, eyes scanning for threats that exist only in Linda Morrison's carefully constructed narrative. Linda explodes from her house like a prosecutor presenting opening arguments to a jury, her pastel cardigan somehow armor-plated with righteous indignation. She strides across her lawn with theatrical urgency, pointing at Bobby with the accusatory precision of someone who's rehearsed this moment in her mind countless times. Officers, thank God you're here. That man has been terrorizing our neighborhood all afternoon. Bobby maintains his position near the grill, his hands visible and his posture deliberately non-threatening. Officer Martinez approaches the property line. Sir, we received a complaint about a disturbance. Mind if we have a quick word? Linda's voice cuts across the lawn like breaking glass. Noise violations, public intoxication, possible drug activity disguised as a children's party. He's been aggressive and threatening toward multiple neighbors. Zoe begins to cry, her birthday joy dissolving into confusion and fear as the woman across the street screams accusations at her father. Bobby looks at his terrified daughter, then at his guests. Good people who came to celebrate childhood joy only to witness the systematic harassment that too many families endure simply for existing in spaces where their presence challenges someone's vision of racial purity? I think, he says with deadly calm, it's time for some clarification. Without another word, Bobby turns toward his garage. Linda's continued screaming fading into background noise as he walks with purpose toward a revelation that will redefine every assumption, every accusation, and every prejudice that brought 3 patrol cars to his daughter's birthday party. The garage door rises with mechanical precision. Every eye fixes on the widening gap. Bobby steps into the afternoon sunlight, wearing the full-dress uniform of the Willow Creek Police Department, complete with the gold-braided insignia that marks him as Chief of Police. The badge catches the Texas sun like a mirror,